And I'm going to kick this on the FM. I have Dr. Robin Armstrong here in studio. Here we go. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. My name is Gardy, and I have a guest that's hanging out in studio. I'm going to let him introduce himself, and we're going to have some fun. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's good to be here with you this afternoon. My name is Dr. Robin Armstrong. I'm a physician here in this local area. I grew up here. I grew up in Lamarck, Texas. I graduated at Lamarck High School in 1987, a little while ago. Went off to college at A&M and came back, did medical school here in Galveston as well. So I've been here all my life. Went to church at Abundant Life for 20 years and know everybody around here. And so it's just an honor to be on with you this afternoon.
Are you proud to be from Lamarck in this area?
I am proud to be from Lamarck. Yeah, it's a great area. Grew up here. Went to elementary school, nursery school, junior high, high school here, so know the area well. Played football here, ran track here, and so I know the area well. Proud to be from here.
So you're a doctor. At what point did you realize that was the path you wanted to take?
Well, in college, probably. I went to college off to A&M. I was a microbiology major. We studied there for 4 years, kind of thought about going to the mission field, thought about how I could best serve in the mission field, and thought, hey, I probably will be a physician, and did my medical school residency and moved on from there.
I think it takes a special person to be a doctor. Would you agree? And what kind of qualities do you need?
Well, I think mostly you need to be smart. You need to be compassionate, care about people. I think that's important. I think it's important that you just. My attitude is come at it from a position of service. You should be willing and wanting to serve the community that you live in. It's been a real honor to be able to live and serve the community that I grew up in. In fact, I started my practice in the hospital where I was born, which is cool. I take care of a lot of people that I know, I grew up with, family members, relatives sometimes. So it's kind of cool. It's cool serving the community where you grew up.
Yeah, and you run into those people. Have they followed you, or are some people surprised, or they said, "Oh, you're a doctor," or like, "No, I knew you'd go do some really cool things."
Right. Yeah. So I think that most people are people remember me certainly and know I grew up here. I don't think they're really surprised, but I think they're surprised when I walk in the room.
Yeah, you're
say,
the doctor.
Hey,
you're my doctor.
Hey, I'm Dr. Armstrong. I'm your doctor today. But yeah, so but it's been fun. I think most people approach it really well. Most people really appreciate the fact that I practice medicine in the hospital where I was born and practice medicine in the community where I grew up and have a large practice in this community.
Yes. Okay. So you're married. Tell me a little bit about your family.
Married to Martha Armstrong. She's also a physician. We met in medical school. We were gross anatomy partners, and so we met over a cadaver. That's kind of a funny story. So we met in medical school, got married my fourth year, her third year medical school, and just been just blessed, doing well since then. Have 4 boys. Daniel was born 5 years later. And so we have Daniel, Gabriel, Joshua, and Noah. Their ages 18 to 11. One just had a birthday a few days ago.
So those names, they all seem pretty biblical. If y'all had a fifth or even a daughter, what would the name?
Well, so I'll tell you. So Noah, my 4th son, actually was supposed to be Isabella. So my wife really wanted a girl.
Yeah.
And so but we are so blessed with Noah. He is a blessing to our family. He's my political animal. He's very, very politically active, and so he just knows a lot. He can have a very, very, very intellectual conversation about politics. So it's fun talking with Noah. We appreciate Noah. He's quite the piano player as well. But he was supposed to be Isabella. We thought he was going to be Isabella, actually. The doctors actually told us that. Initially, They told us he was going to be Isabella, but he turned out to be Noah, so it's all good.
Yes, sir. Okay, so you're a family man, a beautiful family, serve our community, and I think you've served our community in some different ways as well. On the political side, what have you accomplished? What have you done?
So what we've done politically, as I thought that, you really have to have an impact and be engaged in your community. I think it's so important that Christian people, believers who love God, are engaged in the political process. It's vital to the survival of this country, frankly. And so I got involved on the local level as a precinct chair, just working throughout my precinct, meeting my neighbors, having national night out parties, making sure our neighborhood was safe. That's how I started out. Became a city chair, became vice chair of the state Republican Party, and now I serve on the Republican National Committee representing Texas on the RNC.
Yes, sir. And what do you think? I guess what do you think that the people need? What do you think people want?
Well, I think people now want truth and honesty. It's interesting you ask, what people want. I think people really are craving truth. I did a long radio interview this morning on TNT Radio, and it's a radio station that's out of New York. And so it's played in New York, it's played in London, and the folks who own the radio station are from Queensland, Australia, who's having some problems. And I'll tell you, it is amazing to me how many people will ask. I've done interviews all over the world about COVID, about just truth and politics, and so people are craving truth. And I think if you're honest with folks politically, honest with folks medically, honest with folks about what's going on, I think people will gravitate to what you're saying. And that's what I've found. I think people want you to be honest with them. They want you to be straightforward. I think that folks want someone who's going to stand for what's right and do the right thing. And that goes back to what, having believers involved in the political process. I think folks want people to do the right thing and stand up for truth.
You made national headlines whenever in 2020 COVID first came. Didn't really know what was going on, but I think it was right here in Texas City.
Correct. That's correct. So as a physician, we also have a nursing home practice as well. And so in that practice, we had an outbreak of COVID, and we had 55 patients, 31 staff who were positive for COVID. And so immediately that was an emergency situation. We were very, very pretty stressed at the time, and so we decided to treat our patients with the only regimen that was out at the time, hydroxychloroquine, azithromycin, and zinc, and actually our patients got better. And so 38 out of the 39 actually recovered from COVID. And so we got made national headlines for that. A lot of we were attacked as well because and there was a lot of different reasons for that. I think it's very unfortunate, but we were attacked for what we did there, even though the outcome was good. I think that we, at the end of the day, it became a positive thing. As I said before, I've done interviews, and the protocol that we've used is being used all over the world now. And so we were the first to do that in the United States in a nursing facility. And so things turned out well, but there was a little bit of pushback, unfortunately.
What are we seeing now whenever it comes to COVID?
So I think now with the Omicron variant, I believe that it should be the beginning of the end of the pandemic. And the reason I think that is the case is medically, Omicron is less virulent, so it's less deadly, but it is more contagious, which is what you see with the common cold, which is what you see with a lot of illnesses as they get, as the pandemic goes on and on and on, because the virus wants to survive. And so it won't make people as sick, but it might be more contagious. And so I think we're seeing the beginning of the end. I think most people agree with that as well. And so I'm obviously opposed to vaccine mandates for that reason, because I think it's way past the need for that.
This is KHEA Radio. If you're just now joining us, I'm talking to Dr. Robin Armstrong. Dr. Armstrong, what are some things that you believe in, some qualities that you have and you just stand? These are principles for you.
Sure. So I am 100% pro-life. I believe that in protecting the life of the unborn, I think that is a non-negotiable issue for me. That's extremely important. I am for traditional family marriage. I think it's important that we stand for family. I think that's one of the reasons why many of our urban communities are so devastated at this time, because of family issues. We have a breakdown of the family, and so I think we need to promote that as elected officials. We need to promote that as church members. We need to promote that everywhere we get to have the opportunity. That's vitally important. I'm for lower taxes. I think that we're overtaxed at this time. I think property tax reform is essential at this time. We have to allow people have to be able to own their own homes and then not have to rent their home from the government. I think that's an important component. I think we have to get our this coastal barrier built as well to protect this whole Gulf Coast community from storm surges. That this coastal barrier, this Ike Dike as it's called, is something I think we have to get done. Some of our elected officials locally have been pushing that very hard. I will continue to do that as state senator, which is a position I'm running for. And so I think those issues are extremely important to me right now, and we'll fight for those issues.
I know you have a website. If somebody wants to find out more information about you, maybe they could come watch an event or find out somewhere online.
Sure. RobinArmstrongForTexas.com. That's RobinArmstrongForTexas.com is my website. And we're also having a large event here at Abundant Life tomorrow, February the 19th from 2 to 4 p.m. We're having the Attorney General of the state of Texas is coming in. Ken Paxton will be here. We're also having a lot of frontline doctors who actually have paid a price for standing and doing what was right. Dr. Stella Emanuel will be here. Dr. Mary Talley Bowden will be here. Jennifer Bridges will be here. And Dr. Angela Farella will be here as well. All these doctors have paid a price. Jennifer is a nurse who was actually fired from a local hospital because she would not get the vaccine. And so I think that there are ways that we can stand, but these are folks who have stood and paid a price for that stand. And I think we'll hear from them and hear some of their stories, including I'll be telling my story as well. I'll be kind of emceeing the event. The event is for my Senate campaign, and so we'd love to have you come out to 601 Delaney Road at Abundant Life Christian Church.
Is anybody invited? Anybody can come?
Absolutely. Anyone can come. All are welcome. Please come and hear about how we can stand. The rally is called the Rally for Freedom. And so we're standing up for freedom. We're standing up for what's right. I'm hearing now that the Canadian government is cracking down on these local truckers, and I think that it's important that we stand for freedom here. They're on the front lines. As physicians, we've been on the front lines. It's important that we stand for freedom before it comes to our doorstep.
What does freedom mean to you?
Freedom is the ability to make your own decisions, make your own choices. I think as government gets larger and larger, I think that our freedoms and our liberties get smaller and smaller. I think that people need to be able to make their own decisions within the context of the law. And I'll tell you I believe that what's happened recently is the left has really overreached in trying to gain political power. They're in line taking away many of our freedoms, and I think that we as a community have to fight against that.
Dr. Armstrong, is there anything else that you'd like to share, talk about this morning?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important that we stand for what's right. When there's a quote that says when evil men will rule when good men do nothing, and so if we do nothing as good people, as Christian people, please engage the political process. I know that a lot of folks have talked about the political process. It's a dirty process, a nasty process. But I believe that as Christians and as believers, we need to engage the political process more than any other group, because we are the folks who are going to come up with the solutions that are going to lead society. Biblical solutions. I would say vote the Bible. Vote your conscience. Vote the Bible. Vote what's right. Do what's right. And if we get people in power who will do the right thing and tell the truth, that I think we'll be in good shape for many years to come.
Do you think politics will always be kind of ugly? Because it tends to be, at least from the outside looking in.
It will be. I'm sure it will be. It will always be ugly, but that's okay. Jesus told us to occupy. Come here and occupy. Do what's right. Politics has always been ugly since the beginning of time, and people are going to disagree with the best course of action for us. I think it's essential now that good people are infused into that ugly process. Maybe the process will get better if we have a lot of Christian people engaging that process. Maybe that's the reason why it's so ugly. It's because we don't have men and women of God, men and women of faith engaging that process. If we had more, it'll probably be a better process. And so I think people need to engage, and whether it's ugly or not, we still need to engage.
If somebody wants to get involved and they just don't know how, what's a good place for them to start, even if it's on a super hyper local level? to get involved in that process or just learn what's going on?
I would say the local level is the best place to start. I would say that the local level, you could call your county party, the Galveston County Republican Party or the Galveston County Democrat Party for that matter. Any of the parties that you affiliate with, contact those local parties and ask them how you can get involved, how you can become a precinct chair. That's exactly how I got involved. So I was in the same boat. I didn't know where to get involved. So I became a precinct chair at the very local level, at the neighborhood level. And when I became a precinct chair, then I started getting involved more and more and more. And so I believe that God will call you. God calls us all to be civically involved, whether we want to or not. We're called to be. We're called to vote. We're called to be engaged. We're called to be involved. And I think it's important that we answer that call. Because if not, then what's going to happen is there's a vacuum. There's an empty space. And that vacuum will be filled by someone, and it'll be filled by someone who has a different value system than you. So I think that Christian people certainly need to get engaged and involved.
You mentioned, I think it was Noah. You said your son is very
Correct.
involved in the political process or how it goes. What do you think he's going to end up doing one day?
I don't know. Right now, I think he may do medicine, and he'll certainly be involved in politics. I don't know at what level he'll be involved, but he will certainly be involved. He's exciting. We have a nickname I call him Mr. President. So but you never know. He's very engaged. He listens to Ben Shapiro podcasts, and so he's very, very engaged. A little 11-year-old.
Has he started one or anything like that? Is any desire for him to do that?
He is not as of yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if he'll do that in the next few years. I'm sure he'll be running for city council at his school and all that. So he is very involved and very opinionated as well. I think he's to the right of myself.
Yes. Okay, so we have Dr. Robin Armstrong here in studio. If you want to find out more information, you can go to robinarmstrongfortexas.com. Can you invite people one more time? What's going on tomorrow and who can attend?
Absolutely. So it's a rally for freedom. And so I want to invite everybody to come out to that Rally for Freedom. It's I'm running for state senate, Senate District 11, and we're running in the Republican primary. And this is a rally for freedom that's taking place to push back against what's happened in our country. Push back against lockdowns and mandates, whether it's a vaccine or mask mandate or what have you, just to push back against mandates. We're not opposed to anyone, but we certainly don't feel like we should be forced to do anything. So it's a rally for freedom. It's going to be from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday, February 19th, at Abundant Life Christian Center, 601 Delaney Road.
Thank you so much for coming in today. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM.